I don't know about you, but I would be the absolute worst contestant in MasterChef history. Not only do I burn toast, I don't even know who these celebrity chefs are. I was watching an episode tonight. They had this guy come in. All the contestants were jumping up and down, frenzied, hyperventilating, crying, passing out over this celebrity chef. And I had no idea who it was. So I had to turn it off. But leading into today's episode, I've decided to piggyback off the comment of one of my longtime viewers on my past video about going back to my roots, talking about conversations, talking about chit chat, talking about things that pop up in my brain and kind of making it a little bit easy listening. And I came to the realization that that's where I want to be. I don't want to be one of these people on YouTube where you're jumping up and down, screaming about the end of the world, fighting about things that you can't control. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to sell courses, seeing a lot of people creating YouTube channels, showing other people how to create YouTube channels and not knowing how to do YouTube themselves, which I don't. But I kind of want to steer away from that. I kind of want to talk to you, kind of have a nightly chat, have a safe space that we can kind of blend into and really talk about whatever pops into my mind, whatever pops into the comment section, and use those two areas to mesh together and see what comes up. So the thing that's been bugging me for the last couple of days would be Canberra had a teacher strike. So the teachers took 2 hours off for industrial action on Friday from memory. And I'm surprised by the inconvenience it provided people that I worked with and also my friends in my friend group. So I got numerous messages from my friends and from people I work with about this student strike for 2 hours. You'd think that someone chopped off their arms and legs or sold them on the black market or something along the lines of this. It became apparent that a lot of people in society have lost empathy or apathy, or if it doesn't concern them or it does concern them, obviously their attitude changes and they adjust accordingly. So I did have one person I was speaking to. This person was jumping up and down, screaming, carrying on like a pork chop about this industrial action, how it was inconveniencing him and his family and his 2 young kids for the sole purposes that he had to work from home for 2 hours. So, which is quite ironic because this same person constantly messages me telling me that his boss won't let him work from home, even though he should be able to work from home. And he leaves work at the drop of a hat. So if he sneezes, he'll take 2 or 3 days off on sick leave, all these different things. So in essence, anything he can do to get out of work, to work from home, he'll do. But when there's a legitimate thing that pops up, such as a student strike, he cries poor and jumps up and down, all these different things, saying that teachers have got it easy, got all these different things. And I've seen all of those comments replicated across my friend group and people at work, like I said previously. So my sister-in-law was a teacher for almost 20 years, and it's given me kind of a different perspective or an understanding from that perspective, what they actually go through. And I suppose from my perspective, it might be a little controversial, but I kind of think that teachers should be paid a lot more than they currently are because they are really the foundations or the building blocks for the next generation, and also people that will go into the workforce and hopefully be productive people of the community. I suppose this thing that constantly pops up from people I speak to on social media and all these different things, that the teachers get all these school holidays, they get all this time off, they get all these different things, they work office hours, they work, they get it easy for it. They work 9 to 3 and they're good to go. What I learned from my sister-in-law is that that's not the case. She was working weekends, she was working late at night, in addition to having her own kids. She was working after hours doing sports coaching for kids in her class. So, and school holidays, she was actually kind of doing other things in regards to that as well. So it wasn't all sunshine and roses. So what she was saying as well is that she wasn't only just fighting, her bosses or the education department. She actually was fighting on 3 or 4 fronts. So she was getting it from the education department. She was getting it from parents, where we're basically expecting her to raise their kids, and that their kids are the most important person, therefore that they should be given all the attention opposed to the other 15, 16 kids that she had in her class. She had the kids not doing, when she had to micromanage the kids and all these different things. So she's got a lot of different things going on from that perspective. And I don't think people see it from that perspective. They only see what's kind of pushed across to them, or whatever comes out of the inconvenience that they see. So going back to my personal experience, and by all means I'm not a teacher, and I do have a lot of appreciation for teachers, and I can only comprehend what they go through. But my kids, they were going through school last year in primary school, where their teacher had taken off unexpectedly 2 or 3 weeks of leave. And I think it was for compassionate reasons. But what was happening is that they weren't able to secure a relief teacher. The kids were split into classes, and the other teachers were given half the classes. So upwards of 35 to 40 kids being crammed into an office or into a classroom for these teachers for about a 3-week period. So not only did the quality of teaching drop, the teacher was under more stress for the simple fact of all these kids coming in to be taught, obviously extra hours for the lesson plan and all these different things. So I don't envy them. So I'm quite confident of the fact is that what you see in the news and what you see personally may be unaligned to reality. So that's a little bit of going to be a chat tonight. So this is going to be like I said before, kind of a nightly chat. I'm going to talk about either groceries tomorrow. So I did see an article on TV tonight about there is a lot of assaults and verbal abuse and all these different things that happen to people that are working, so retail assistants or people that work in grocery stores. But I kind of got the impression that it was covering up for something else, so something more sinister. Or alternatively, we can talk about UFOs, which is probably more fitting to this kind of channel. Donald Trump and the US government have just released a whole stack of UFO documents. I have downloaded them. I've gone through a few of them. It's quite interesting to see why they're doing that now. Is it a case of that they're trying to drip feed and say, hey, look, we've got lizard people living among us? Or is it a case that they're trying to distract from something else? Let me know in the comment section what you kind of think of this new structure for the channel. We will be doing other videos through those, but these ones will be probably about those 8 or 9 minutes, 7 or 8, 9 minutes through the night to see how we go, get the community building, get some conversation going, and we'll see how we go from there. We'll catch you next time. Good night.